me and the fabulous Michele B and Karin Carr. So hopefully this all goes off without a hitch, but it is technology and it is live, so things can happen, and they usually do happen. So hopefully I am the one at the controls. I hope I can figure this out as much as it's all my fault if it goes down. All right, you can just blame it on the pink craziness. All right. All right. So that said, Josh and I actually started watching a webinar yesterday on a topic, and the speaker took like a half hour to even get into whatever the heck he was talking about. So I don't like to do that. I like to kind of jump in and get started. And I am going to do a quick little intro. I'm going to have Michele B. All right. So Michele B, you start off. Tell them a little bit about yourself.
Okay, hey guys, I'm Michele Bellisari down in beautiful Boca Raton. I'm the founder of #SoBoca. I'm also an agent with RE/MAX here in beautiful Boca Raton in sunny South Florida. I love Instagram. It is my jam. I have 2 accounts, so I'm going to be talking about Instagram today. @SoBoca has about 8,400 followers, and the Michele B, which I'd love for you guys to follow, I'm creeping up on 10,000 guys, which is kind of cool, but it's really all about engagement and fun, and that's what we're going to talk about, video with Instagram and how to lead generate with that.
And you sell real estate, right?
And by the way, I'm a real estate agent, and I have closings right now that we move forward because of what's going on, and you know, I just wish everybody, we got to breathe and get through this.
All right, nice. Okay, so now we're going to go on to the fabulous Ms. Karin Carr. So let's just hit the little spotlight video there. There's Karin. Go for it, Karin. Tell us about yourself.
Thank you. I am also a practicing real estate agent. I'm with KW in Savannah, Georgia. I have a closing on Monday, God willing. Everything is going okay. So I just hope it continues that way. The other ones that I've got in contract right now, they're still moving along. They're just like, everybody's a little bit, you know, freaked out about, will it continue this way? But God willing, it will. So my platform of choice is YouTube. And so that's why we wanted to do this today, because each of us has like a different approach to doing video, and they all work. You just have to pick the one that works for you and commit to it. And so I'm glad you're all joining us today, because we're going to tell you how you can make use of this downtime to really cement your online presence using video.
Awesome, awesome. All right, so I hit that button and we should all go back to, are we all in the threesome again? Are we all good? How do we look, guys?
I see you.
You can see me, that's it? Okay.
Well, I mean, when you're talking, I see you big on the screen.
Yeah. Oh, it's just me. Oh, okay,
right.
So now you just see me. I hope you're supposed to see Karin. Did you not see Karin? All right, so let us know. Speaker only mode. Okay. Okay, so here we are. All right, so is it just me now? I'm working on it. We're getting there.
Mm-hmm. I think speaker only mode is fine, because then the person who is actively talking is the one who shows up big on the screen.
Shows up. There we go. All right, so we should see a change here in a moment as we get started. I'll tell you a little bit about myself, not my favorite thing to do. We are going to go over everybody's Instagram handles, all that good stuff as we go forward from here. So hang tight as we go into this. So I am Sue Pinky Benson. I am a real estate agent, active real estate agent, Southwest Florida, from Naples, Marco Island, up to Fort Myers and Cape Coral. And on that note, I do some live videos occasionally. So I've got some awards from BombBomb, as does Karin, for some of the video stuff that we've done. So we are going to talk about how to really engage with video, because it's really now or never. Like, we talked about it forever. Seriously, like Katie Lance, when I met her like 7 years ago, she told me to get on video, and that's when I started 7 years ago. So it's really, really at this point, if you haven't figured it out, you know what? We are going to help you get there right now. So we are going to start with Michele B. She is going to talk about, wow, we're up to almost 100 people in this.
Holy crap, right on.
We are, which is the capacity. So we are going to start with our little keynote. So hold on a second while I switch screens over.
Woohoo!
Okay. Do we have that up? We're good?
We do indeed.
Wow. All right, awesome. All right, just so you know, I made this in Canva, so I'm not that talented, but you too can be this talented as well. All right, so on to Ms. Michele B. Michele B, tell us a little bit about Instagram. some of the things that we need to know.
Okay, guys. Hi. So my kids got me on Instagram a few years ago, and I didn't do much with it. I actually segued more so onto it after I did some stuff on Snapchat. But one of the things I love about Instagram, I'm just going to dive right in because I'm all about let's just talk nuts and bolts here. It is one of the most robust social media platforms out there for real estate agents. And the reason I say that is because within the platform itself, there's so many things that you can do. If you have a business Instagram account, which I highly recommend that you do, because at the end of the day, we do blend a little bit of our personal life with our real estate life. And so you just get more options in the actual business platform. And we can always talk about that another day, but just keep that in the back of your mind. The thing I love about Instagram, like so many of these programs we're going to talk about today, is it's free. It costs you nothing but time and training. T squared, right? Time and training. So what I also can share with you is that the engagement rate on Instagram is 10 times that of Facebook. And it's such a visual platform that you can have a lot of fun with it and showcase what you're doing throughout your day. Like Gary Vee says, you know, you document your day, and now is the time. And this is why we said it's video, it's now or never, right? So one of the things I love is that you can, with your cell phone, just like I have here, right? You can do quick 15-second videos in the stories section. You can do up to 60 seconds of a video in a post on the grid. You can, when you start to really learn more about Instagram, you can start doing IGTV, and many of Karen's students take their YouTube videos and convert them to IGTV videos, which gives you a live link. And one of the things to know about Instagram is that you really only have one opportunity to have a live link, and that's in your bio, where you write about yourself, what you do. You can have a live hashtag and a live link. It's a great source of referrals and to build your local community. So one of the things that I found was as a founder of #SoBoca, which is my lifestyle blog, I found that this was a really great way for me to connect with people, right? And video just seems to pop, pop, pop. The posts are great, but I don't post every day. And many of the posts I do involve video. So for example, even though Instagram stories, which many of you know, disappear in 24 hours, there are ways for you to repurpose that video. You can save it in a highlight, which is the circles underneath. And in a minute, I'm going to go on and I'll show you my account. But what's great is that what they find is that the engagement rate is so much higher on video than just a pretty picture. And as much as I like pretty pictures, the video is where it's at. Video also top of mind with Instagram stories in particular. Even though they disappear in 24 hours, it keeps you top of mind. So I recommend you do 3 to 5 a day. You can do a couple in the morning, a couple at noon, a couple in the evening. If you've had a busy day, you can always batch your video. The nice thing is you don't have to be live all the time when you do your video. So if I want to do an Instagram story and record it, I can hit the little down button in the upper left-hand side, save it, and then come back to it and do it when I have time. And I recommend when you're getting started, so their stress isn't too high, do that. Then you can kind of be a little more thoughtful about what you're going to be videotaping. Is your video going to be timed back to, for example, a blog post or a new listing or something like that? The other thing is that you can videotape right within the app on the actual post, and that's really cool too. I do recommend that you play around with it so that you get comfortable, and delete. Video delete. I think the ladies here will back me up on that. If you don't like how you're looking at that moment, you can always delete it. But what's really nice, and I like to premise this by saying I'm a midlife mama, hashtag over 55. Listen, I'm all about the filters, my friends, all about the filters. So here's the thing, video. You want to make sure you're doing something that's educational, entertaining, interesting, something that you would want to see yourself, right? One of the other nice things is when you start doing more stories, for example, and you save those stories, which you could turn that into, by repurposing them, another video. You could put those together and share it elsewhere. You can put it on Facebook. You can put them on Instagram. You should be sharing your Instagram handle everywhere. And again, you're going to get more traction on your stories typically, and you can track that with the analytics that the business account lets you have. Let's see, what else do I want to talk about? Okay. One of the really cool things about doing video on Instagram is that you can ask questions, you can do poll stickers, you can have GIFs or GIFs, whatever you want to call it, and that helps with engagement. You can, for example, do a question that could have something to do about, hey, when does your lease end? Or, hey, have you thought about purchasing a home in the next year? And people love to answer that. So that's a great way for you to kind of gauge people who might have some interest. Very warm way to connect with them. And once you do that, you can also send a video through the direct message option, which is a very untapped option on Instagram. It is like hidden gold, kind of like what they say, you go to conferences and the gold is in the hallway conversations. Well, that's kind of what the DMs are like on Instagram, and you can do a video to someone there too. Great way to connect. What else can I share with you? The types of leads that you can get depending on who your community is. And Instagram is a community. And that's the one thing that I have to premise that whether you have 10 followers or you have 10,000 followers, it is a community where you can connect. By using branded hashtags, for example, from other companies, you could connect with your local Orange Theory. You could see, okay, maybe you have a hobby. Do videos about your hobby on Instagram and then use the appropriate hashtags that are hyper local to connect with those people that have the same interests. So you kind of see where I'm going with this. I'm all about the niche. I love niches. Riches and niches is my big jam, and it's how I got through getting back on my feet after the housing issues back in 2008. Figure out what your niche is and use that in your Instagram stories. Tie it back to a post. Do an IGTV video. And if you're comfortable, go live. I think live is so much fun and it's very cool, and you don't have to be perfect and made up. Look, today, listen, we came here ready to roll. The glam squad, that would be me, showed up, whatever. Typically you will see me in a baseball hat. Sue and Karen, they will say that. I'm in a baseball hat, and very much so without makeup. So don't worry about how you look and sound in video. Nobody cares. If you have good content and good information, that's what people want. So you can build your community. You can engage with video at such a high level versus just plain posts. Don't worry about how many people are liking your post, because at the end of the day, it's all about the engagement. And the reverse of that is if you see somebody's video that you like, answer their poll questions, answer the questions that they're asking so that you create the engagement, because Instagram really likes that. The algorithm loves it when they see the engagement. One of the other things I want to mention to you is that in a post, if you are going to do video, you can do a square post, a portrait or a landscape. It doesn't really matter. Same thing with IGTV now. They kind of fixed that. You can pre-record things too. So maybe if you don't want to use the Instagram handle or platform itself, and maybe you've done something just on your regular video app on your phone, you can share that to Instagram too. As a matter of fact, I do that all the time. And I know the ladies have both used Splice, and Sue's a huge fan of InShot, and she turned me on to InShot. And I'm telling you right now, if you go back and just look on your phone right now and organize some of your photos and videos, you can probably put together some pretty good content right now without ever leaving your house, because guess what? We're not leaving right now. So this is a great time for you to really get started on this and play around with it, make your mistakes, get your kids to help you. My kids helped me. They got me started on TikTok. Had I not started on Snapchat, I probably wouldn't be doing as much video. But the girls, Kylie and Allie, got me on that. So let's see here. And make sure you have a call to action in what you're doing.
I'm going to try and attempt to do this, to pull up right now your Instagram on screen so that they can kind of see.
I think I might. Yeah, do you got it there?
Did it pop up, guys? What do we?
No, I'm not gonna.
Let me hit this. All right, let me go here.
There I am. Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Now I just need to maximize it. There we go.
Perfect. So that's my Instagram account. You can see what my name is, the Michele B. The only reason it's not my full name is I've had this account so long that if I went back and truly made my handle Michele Bellisari, I do not know where I'd have to change all those links. So I've left it as Michele B because I am Michele B. You can see where I'm from. I'm in sunglasses most of the time. I'm in South Florida. I love to share Instagram tips for realtors. You can see on the highlights there, I've got Instagram tips for you guys. Go there. They're free. Tons of them. I add them all the time. I have @SoBoca. So you can see I've cross-pollinated my other Instagram account. I was a socialite for R4, which I'm probably going to take that off now. If you want a free Instagram hashtag strategy, drop me a DM because I've got some freebies for you guys. But you can kind of see how I gridded out my Instagram. And in there, you'll see I've got video. I do it frequently. And my stories, Sue, if you want to hit maybe my stories, see if that'll roll.
Let's see if it works. Yeah, let's go.
Yes, ma'am. I was supporting one of my local restaurants yesterday. Doing pickup. Here's an example of questions that I asked, and I shared some of the answers from some of the agents that follow me.
Talking about the webinar.
The webinar, yeah, Zoom. There we go. There, see now, there's an example of promoting. Now, this is not exclusively video, but you can see the things that you can do and how you can tie back and forth with the story.
You can get very, very creative within your Instagram stories.
So here's
there's your sunglasses.
Oh, look, see, no makeup, hair's not done. I don't care.
Previous post, make sure you commented on
Here I
am with Sue.
Jeez, all right.
But this is just a snapshot today, guys, just to give you some comfort level so that you try. You know, don't be afraid. I always say hashtag engage at any age. I'm going to be 58 next month. And you know what? Instagram isn't just for kids. It is a great way for you to lead generate and connect. I just closed a $630,000 property that was realistically through Instagram. It's someone I met at a conference, and we started to follow each other on Instagram, and we you know, brought that relationship on. And thankfully, Sue also knew this person. And so between the connection on Instagram and through Sue, I ended up with the referral, and that's what we closed last week. So just so you know, this is just one of the tools in your toolkit, you know, and I love it. I just think it's so much fun, and I've just made it part of my day, you know, and you know, that's pretty much what I've got to share. So
we have some questions in
cues.
So I don't know why it's not your birthday, is it, Michelle?
No, next month, the 18th. I'm a true.
Yeah, I don't know. Somebody said happy birthday, so
thank you, guys.
All right, Jody, whatever you say. Okay, so if I have highlights and they are unorganized, how can I change them to look pretty and organized like yours, Michelle B?
So one of the things that I decided to do with my highlights was use my little brand of the bee and a little bit of the hashtag SoBoca. It's just a picture. You just upload a picture. So if you put it on your, you know, in your album on your phone, picture on your phone, you can upload a picture and just kind of move it around, do it the way you want to, and then title it. The only issue with highlights now, if you want to reorder them, you really have to add a highlight in. So for example, I'm really careful now about what I'm adding so that the old stuff that I have in there that I still want there, but isn't quite as relevant, stays towards the right side of my feed. And the more recent things and the things that are more relevant, like webinars and speaking and being at R4 and talking about Instagram, is more right under. So when you're looking at my bio, my most relevant ones typically are under. So you can edit with a photo of whatever you want. I like consistency and I like branding. So I tried to build my brand in there.
And you can go into Canva now and make those little highlight circles. You can make those in Canva.
Absolutely. And that's really, I did that, I want to say a couple years ago. And then I decided that this was an opportunity for me to brand SoBoca. So I started popping in the SoBoca brand there when I rebranded it at the end of last year.
Now, Kimberly asks that she has some social media person in her office that's saying not to use IG business. I'm not quite sure. Does that mean is your profile as a business, or what exactly do you mean by that? Like, what would you say? So if they were talking about an account, if that's what she's referring to, business versus, what would you say, Michelle?
So my thought process is, because when you go on Instagram business, it gives you all these options. For example, you know, to really add a contact there. You can do a promotion there. So say you're doing, maybe you have a something that you want to promote, there's a button there for that. Maybe if you have a side hustle, you can add shops. It has analytics too, so you can really track and trend who's watching you, who's following you. For example, if I want to look at my insights, which is what they're called, I can tell you, and I can tell you without even looking at them, because I do look at my audience, that about 62% of the people that follow me are women. 38% are men. How about that? The average age is between 25 and 54 who follow me. I can see the activity, like you can see all this stuff, and you don't get that on personal. So if you want to use this for business, and I highly recommend it, this is how you can track, like, what are your most popular posts? So I can go in and go, okay, this post got 1,114 like views, or this is the reach that I got. You can't do that on personal. And so your goal is to see what's gonna make someone react and connect with you. And you really want to do that on the business. That's my personal opinion. I think it's a little old school now to think that you can get away with personal account on Instagram as a real estate agent. And I think you're missing so many good opportunities there.
And let's see, I'm trying to, okay, so let me know if it's popping back and forth between us, guys. I'm still working on the technology here. Are we popping back and forth?
You're doing
here?
a great job. And
okay.
thank you guys about my Boosh site. That's a Remax thing, and Heather Holiday did that for me. I'd love to say I can take credit for that, but she was slam dunked that for me.
Okay, so honestly, Maureen's question is, how do you know if you have a business account? It's in your settings. So what I would say is tomorrow I'm going to be doing the basics of Instagram. Maureen will walk you through that and show you where to look. The other thing that you have to keep in mind with Instagram is that if you have a personal account and it's private, all of the, like Michelle was talking about a hashtag strategy, using hashtags, period, they're not going to be seen if your account is private. So you're wasting your time putting up 10, 15 hashtags. They're not going anywhere. You're not going to have as much growth. You know, it's Katie Lance had this great analogy of it, which was, it's like being a business with the lights on and the open sign, but the front door is locked. Like you can't get in. So, you know, and my theory is that, or my philosophy is that anything that you're putting out on social media that you don't want someone to see somewhere, then it doesn't need to go on social media. That's just my thing. Don't put it out there if you don't want someone to see it.
I think with Instagram accounts too, and this is just a couple of little tips, because I know you're going to be doing your class tomorrow. Don't be a private account unless there's a safety reason to be private. Hashtags in your video stories, you can use up to 10 hashtags, and you can certainly save those hashtags so you're not losing your mind trying to do that every time. You can automate stories through Planoly and posts through Planoly. I do that frequently depending on what's going on. I would just say enjoy what you're doing with it. Know why you are on Instagram. I think for me, that is the big thing, because it's not the same SEO, for example, that like YouTube has. It's got its own little vibe going on, and you really have to know why you're on there and have a strategy, just like anything else, right? So that goes back to, all right, what's my content calendar going to look like for the month? Why am I posting? Don't just post to post. That's the same for video on Instagram. Have a strategy, know who your audience is. Come up with a branded hashtag. Hashtag So Boca is branded. It's also trademarked. So it's just a piece of my business philosophy at this point, you know, like know why you're posting and know why you're on the platforms that you're on.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you, Michelle. You guys can, of course, ask your questions here. We're going to roll on over here to the Ms. Fabulous Karin Carr, who wrote the book. Literally wrote the book on how to do YouTube videos for real estate agents. I actually have the book somewhere. It was just a little while ago. But Karin, kind of roll us through. I'm going to pull up the thing here, but get started here telling me a little bit about what agents can be doing right now with video on YouTube.
You got it. My thing about using YouTube is that it is a search engine. It's not really a social media platform. It is pretty much the video equivalent of Google, and Google owns YouTube, for the 10 of you who didn't know that. It seems like everybody knows that, but every now and then I get someone who did not know. Google has owned YouTube for at least 10 years. And so if you have a video that's performing very well on YouTube, it will absolutely show up on the first page of Google organically without spending a buck on ads. You don't have to boost the post. It just shows up there. And so the type of content that I put on YouTube is very different than what you would put on social media. Like, I don't go out and document my day. I don't interview restaurants and things like that just for the purpose of being social. My strategy on YouTube is somebody is Googling, how much do I need for a down payment? Or how long does it take to sell my house in Savannah? Or how much does it cost? Or how do I hire a real estate agent? So if they're Googling questions about real estate, I want to be the person that they find when they do the Google search. And thank God it has worked extremely well. So if somebody Googles something like retiring in Savannah, my blog post and my videos show up on the first page of Google organically. So if you're putting content on YouTube, don't think that it has to be like super fabulously entertaining and amazing and well produced. It's literally, they asked a question, you answer the question in a way that is very helpful and not self-promotional, because that does not go over well on YouTube at all. They didn't come to watch a commercial. So if it's like, hey, I'm Karin, I'm a realtor and I'm a GRI and I've been in business for 15 years and I've got all these designations and I'm a top producer and I'm so fabulous, you know, that goes over like a lead balloon. They don't care. They had a question. And if you're the one to answer their question and they like your personality, you'll end up getting their business. And you will never even have to have the discussion of how long you've been in business and how many houses in my neighborhood have you sold. They don't even ask those questions because they don't care. They've already gotten to know your personality and they like you at that point and they trust you. Videos are the consumer's favorite type of content. And if you didn't already know that, like I'm telling you that, those are statistics. I had who quoted that statistic. I can't remember whether it was Hootsuite or something, but like, when you do a Google search, if you're presented with a blog post or a news article or a video, most people prefer to watch the video. And I will tell you that it's a lot easier to film a video than it is to write a 3,000 word blog post, because I've done that too. And it's way easier for me to make a video. Everyone is online right now looking for information. They're either looking for information or a distraction to give them something to smile about, because we're all so stressed and everybody's worried and they got nothing to do and they're home with the kids. So before it was a little more challenging to reach your ideal audience. Now it's much easier. I posted a video on Tuesday afternoon at around 4:30 or 5 o'clock. It's had 600 and something views at this point. So in 2 days, in 48 hours, it's had 60 or over 600 views, all organic. I didn't have to boost a post. I didn't have to pay anything, because everybody is online and they're all looking for information. So let's give them stuff to watch. And if you start making that a business practice now, when all of this craziness is over, you will be so far out in front of your competition, they won't know what hit them. I started making videos weekly for YouTube in June of 2017. And to this day, hardly anyone in my market is doing it, even though I give this class on using YouTube at my own office and at other offices around the city all the freaking time. They all go, oh yeah, that's a good idea. But then nobody takes action and nobody does it. So if the consumer goes to YouTube and they look for anything to do with Savannah real estate information, my videos completely dominate the search results and they think that I'm the only agent in town. And I am perfectly okay to let them think that. So if you just decide that you're going to do it and you start doing it, trust me, 6 months from now, your channel will be on fire and people won't even be able to catch up at this point. It's kind of like when I meet one of the agents in my market, they're like, oh, I would never do YouTube videos because that's your thing. Like I'm the only person in town that can do a YouTube video, but they have this silly self-defeating attitude about it, but they tell themselves that it's not even worth trying because I've already got that all locked down, which is absolutely not the case, but that's what they think. And that will happen for you too. You'll be able to dominate your market in very, very little time if you just do it with consistency. So that doesn't mean make a video today and then a month from now make another one and then you get really busy so you don't make any. I'm talking about decide I'm going to upload once a week, and what day of the week will that be? And you upload a video every single week on that day, whether you're busy or not. Today I'm doing one live because I've been really busy this week. I just haven't had enough time to film one and get it edited. So I'm gonna go live instead. And at my regular time that I post on YouTube, I'm gonna do a live training instead of doing a pre-recorded video that I uploaded in advance. So there are ways to get around it if you're busy. And hopefully we are, but you know what? We're not busy right now. We have a lot of free time. So now is the time to crank out content. I swear, if you could say to the kids, I need you to be quiet for an hour, and you record 4 videos back to back, and you do that again tomorrow, and you do that again the next day, in a week, how big of a library of video content would you have that's already done? And it's just waiting to go out when it's convenient for you. I mean, you could really take advantage of this time right now if you wanted to.
Oh, look at this. Somebody's saying, and Karen is great to work with. David says she shares so much information with how to, and she makes herself available to share new ideas and shares what she learns from others too. Oh, that's
thank
so
you,
nice.
David.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I met David at the Bomb Rehumanized conference last spring out in Denver, and that was pretty awesome. I was up on stage talking about YouTube, of course, and other people were talking about using the Bomb platform or doing listing tours or whatever. Everybody had like a different way of doing video, but we were all talking about video. That was like my favorite conference ever because it was just my people, right? All video all day for 2 days straight. It was great.
Well, you know, Karen, I think that, and I hope we're popping between again. I'm just really concerned about how this looks. But, you know, as far as like, I just finished your book, and, you know, a lot of people might be surprised by that, but YouTube is not my jam. I have a ton of video up there, and I've been working on re-tagging things based on like keyword searches. One of the things that I thought was just so key was getting that add-on just to your Google, and people can do that right now and start doing their keyword searches, right?
You totally can. So there are a million different keyword research tools, but for those of you that don't know what that is, it's basically doing research to find out what is somebody typing into the Google search bar or the YouTube search bar. Are they typing in homes for sale in Savannah, or are they typing Savannah real estate, or are they typing relocating to Savannah, or living in Savannah, or cost of living in Savannah? What are they Googling? And you're looking for something that gets a fairly good amount of monthly searches. Like, I don't want to make a video if only 5 people a month are searching for it. But if 500 people a month are searching for it, yes, I want to make a video on that topic. It also tells you how hard it would be to rank for it. Because if you show up on the 8th page of search results, will anyone ever see your video? No, they will not. You want to appear like in the top 5 or at least in the top 10, because nobody's going to scroll past the first page of search results. So we're looking for something that gets a good amount of search volume, but still a fairly low competition score. And the one that I really like is called Keywords Everywhere. You go to keywordseverywhere.com, you pay your $10. It's $10 for 100,000 search credits. So that should probably last you about a year, I would think. And spend the $10. It plugs right into Chrome or Firefox as an extension. And then when you go to Google and you type in, oh, I don't know, let's say best neighborhoods in San Antonio, it'll tell you how many searches are being done right underneath the search bar. Like, you type into the Google search bar and best neighborhoods in San Antonio, and it will say X number of searches, and then the competition score on a scale of 1 to 100. And we're just looking for the lowest number that we can find.
I think I could actually show what that looks like. Let's see if I can.
Sure.
All right.
Pull up the Google. Hold on, guys. Hold on while we do this. All right.
I'm actually going
awesome.
to teach my daughter how to do this, Karen, because she's home. She did a makeup video yesterday, and I'm like, I'm going to show you what Karen taught me.
That's awesome.
You know, Allie's so funny. It's fantastic. I'm like, oh, look at her. But I'm like, oh, you can even get more, and this is how, and I'm going to sit down and show her, because that's what I learned in your class and your program.
Okay,
yep, so here's the
I
perfect
typed in.
example.
Go ahead. Explain what I'm looking at.
So she went to Google and she typed in moving to Naples, Florida. And I don't have my glasses on, but I think that says volume 170 a month.
Yes, ma'am.
And the competition is what, 0.28?
25.
0.25. So 170 people a month are typing into the Google search bar, moving to Naples, Florida. Do you think that that indicates they have some intent to buy a house or at least move to the area? Sure they do. If you do a restaurant review or something, that's awesome that you could get tons and tons of views. But does that mean that they want to buy or sell real estate? Not necessarily. But if they're typing moving to Naples, they're thinking about moving to Naples and they're going to need a place to live. So I love searches like that because they're raising their hand and identifying themselves as having a need to do real estate transaction. And then when it says competition is 0.25, so it's on a scale of 0.01 to 1.00. So basically a scale of 1 to 100, and it gets a 25, which in my book is low. I would say 33 and below is low, 33 to 66 is medium, 66 and above is high. Don't ever waste your time if the competition is high. You're competing against Zillow and Redfin and huge sites. You're not ever going to get that. So just don't even waste your time. Medium, maybe. I try to keep it in the low competition score whenever possible.
Okay, so that gives you the idea of what your topic should be.
Right.
And then over on the right-hand side, I also think that's really cool is the related keywords. You want to talk a little bit about what that means?
Sure. So do me a favor, in your search bar, take out the word Florida. So it just says moving to Naples. And then let's see what that gets.
20 a month.
Okay, so that's a perfect example. You type in moving to Naples and it only gets 20 searches a month. I personally would not bother to make a video with moving to Naples because nobody's looking for it. But if you go over to the sidebar where it says related and people also search for, they give you alternatives. So maybe we're not going to call it moving to Naples. Maybe we're going to call it best communities in Naples, Florida. There is a Naples, Italy, so we want to make sure we're not targeting people that are moving to Italy because that's a very different area. And let's see what else.
Living in Naples, Florida, pros and cons.
Yep, that would be an awesome one right there.
Yeah.
I'm just reading as we go down. I steer away from anything that has to do with safety or crime rate or schools. Like we don't want to do anything where we're going to get in trouble, where we're going to be accused of steering and stuff like that. So I would not do any videos talking about the safety of it, but you could certainly talk about walkability scores or cost of living, or in fact, one of my really popular videos was cost of living in Savannah, Georgia. And I found a website called NerdWallet where you type in one city and another city and it compares the two in terms of cost of living. So of course I put in areas that had a higher cost of living than Savannah, and I put in Boston. And I said, let's take a look at the difference. If you live in Boston and you make $80,000 a year, if you move to Savannah, you can make half that money and still have the same quality of life because the cost of living here is so much lower. You could take a job in Savannah for 40 grand and you'd have the same cost of, or same quality of life that you have now in Boston. But I guarantee you that the salaries here are not half of what they are in other areas. It'll be probably less, but it won't be half. And so even if you take a reduction in pay, you're still coming out ahead and you'll never have to shovel snow again and you won't have to deal with traffic and you'll get to eat seafood and get to go to the beach and all that stuff. So you can come up with ideas. And for me personally, I really love doing videos on topics that are about my area that people are Googling if they're not familiar with the area. Because if they already live in Naples and they already know 10 real estate agents because they're all getting your magnets in the mail with the football schedule and stuff, they're probably not doing those kind of Google searches because they're already familiar with the area. Makes sense, right? If they're moving here from somewhere else, they don't know the area. They don't know any real estate agents yet. It's very easy for you to capture those people because they're unfamiliar with the area. So I really, when I started this whole strategy, I was truthfully looking for the low-hanging fruit. I'm looking for someone that is indicating that they intend to buy or sell real estate, hopefully in the immediate future, and somebody that doesn't already know 1,700 real estate agents in my market. And so that's why I've really gone after people that are relocating into my area because it's a slam dunk. I'm telling you, it's very easy to attract that business.
So right now we're looking.
Can I say one thing real quick?
Yeah.
One of the things that I learned from Karen was also how to revamp my crappy channel that I'd had since 2000 and I think 8, which I really wish I could change. So she really was instrumental in helping me revamp the look of my channel so that it was done the right way. But also her example of moved to Savannah was my inspiration to move to Boca Raton, which has done quite well. It also leads people to other platforms that I want them to see, like my blog or Pinterest. But what's really cool is that when someone calls you, and I know people say this in your group all the time, they feel like they know you already. That's huge.
It really is huge. I got a lead on Monday. So on Monday is my regular posting day. And I did a video called, are you able to still buy or sell during the coronavirus? And I basically said, maybe you were thinking about buying a house and now you're thinking that's not a very good time to do that. Well, if you want to put the brakes on, we totally understand. But there are some people that still have to move. And maybe it's not a luxury for you right now to just put it on hold. You still have to move. So can we still do this? Yes, we can. We're going to do virtual reality home tours. Here's how we're going to do it. Here's how we can help you. And I got an email on Monday from the sweet lady that said, my little family has been ready to leave the ridiculously expensive Colorado mountains to a more affordable town closer to our families, and Savannah is it. Of course, just as we were planning this, a pandemic happens. We've watched some of your videos, and then just today I saw your video about buying during the pandemic, and I had to say, will you be my realtor? Oh, I just gave myself goosebumps.
Right?
Like,
literally, oh my God.
That is what she said to me on Monday. So is business going to be slow? Of course it is. I was talking to Malcolm Lawson yesterday, and he said his business has really come to a screeching halt. And I think that's the case for many of us, and for most of us. But there are still those people that are going to have to move. And she said, like, will you be my realtor? She didn't say, I'm interviewing you and 3 other people, and I want you to give me a proposal, and I'm going to go with whoever's going to give me a 25% rebate on my commission. Like, she didn't say that. She said, will you please represent me? And those are the types of leads that I get from YouTube all the time. Like, we're probably getting leads. Like before the pandemic started, we were getting 3 to 5 leads on most days. A slow day would be 1 or 2 leads. Now it's slowed down a little bit. Now it's only like 2 or 3 a day. We're getting 2 or 3 leads a day. Come on, during this. They may not be willing to do a transaction right now, but when all of this is over, they're going to remember that you were the one that did not curl up in the corner and cry. You were the one out there saying, what can I do to help you? How can I answer your questions? How can I be a resource for you? So that when everything is better, like, you're going to get their business.
So Karen, right now we're looking at your YouTube channel. So for people that are getting out there and getting started, they could at least start on setting up the channel, putting up the artwork, which you can do on Canva. I keep saying it, but canva.com is the bomb. But this is something simple that they could start now. They don't, even if they don't have the video content, at least get the channel set up so you feel like you're going in that direction.
Absolutely. If you go to YouTube and you create a brand new channel, it's going to say, what do you want for your cover photo to be your channel art? And you go over to Canva and you choose their template called cover art or YouTube channel art, and you pick one and you put in your fonts and your colors and your logo and your photo, and then you just download it and upload it to YouTube. Now at least you got a good looking channel. Then you start creating content. It does not have to be perfect. It does not have to be fabulous. I think the audience in general is going to be very forgiving of video quality now. They know that we're doing this from home with all of our kids here. And here's a perfect example. On this Zoom call, I'm using the webcam on my computer, and my microphone is like a $30 USB microphone that I got on Amazon. So it plugs into the back of my computer, into the USB port. And I'm using my webcam that's already on my computer. I could record an entire video like this, and it would be perfectly fine. Is it the greatest video quality in the world? No, but can they see me clearly and can they hear me clearly? Yeah. And can I hide my messy office because all of my junk is on the floor and you can't see it? Yeah. So you can start recording videos and just Save them. You don't have to publish them all on the same day. You could do, one today, and you could do once a week. I was doing once a week. Now I'm going to try to step it up to twice a week because, hey, I got the time. I'm going to see if I can pump out some more content.
So Karin, one of the questions is, we talk a lot about attracting the buyer. Like you said, you got a buyer from this. What about sellers?
You just have to figure out what questions do sellers have. I've made videos on how much does it cost to hire a real estate agent to sell your house. I've made videos for FSBOs where how do you list your house on Zillow? And then I show them, and I show them all of the flaws with that too. Like when you put your house on here, they're going to have the 3 premier agents at the top, and you're down at the bottom in black and white with no photo. They're not going to call you. They're going to call the premier agents. Then the premier agents are going to call you to see if they can show your house. And you're wondering why you're not getting all of these leads. Well, that's because that's how the platform works. They're selling these leads to people and da 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 da. You're going to have to hire a professional photographer. You can't use your crappy cell phone pictures. You can't just put a sign in the front yard and think that your phone's going to start ringing off the hook. So I'm telling them how they can do it for sale by owner, but I'm also trying to show them that it's not as easy as they think it's going to be, and that by the time they add up all the different fees of things that they need to buy, they may as well just hire a real estate agent and get it done right the first time. So
you've actually gotten seller leads that way through those videos. There we go.
The very first lead I ever got from my channel was a seller. The second lead I ever got was a seller.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yep, you absolutely can. Do I have to replace my kitchen counters with granite if I'm thinking of selling my house? Is gray still the color that everybody wants to know? 5 easy tips for curb appeal. How do you protect yourself from germs if your house you're thinking of selling during this virus outbreak? Can you even still have showings? Can people come and show your house if you put your house on the market next week? Is it even possible? You can be making videos answer those kinds of questions. Absolutely.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, guess what? Now it's my turn.
Yay.
Yay. I get to talk now. We're going to talk a little about loving going live, and I'm going to try and do all this at the same time. So you guys get to deal with me and my producing skills at the same time. But, I get to do, I guess I've been recognized before for some of my Facebook lives that I've done. I had a series called Pinky Knows Naples. I still do it occasionally, and that's kind of been my tagline as I've re-established myself in a new area of Southwest Florida and getting started all over again. So, I do a lot of live videos, and it was kind of funny because when we were talking about putting this together, I was like, I haven't really done like a live, like a Pinky Knows Naples live in like a couple weeks. Like it's not like something, because it used to be very consistent that I did it every Friday, but then I realized that I'm going live every day in my group. So it's still, I'm going live on Instagram. I'm going live in other places. So it's kind of funny because when you start going, you just don't even realize you're doing it anymore. You're just doing it. And it's kind of, that's what it comes down to with videos, guys, is that once you get over that initial hurdle of like, oh, I don't like the way I look, the way I sound, I'm not perfect, then all of a sudden it just starts to like, oh, I can do this, I can do that. Like it's like this, like we're figuring this out as we go, and we'll figure it out. So we mess up, so we make a mistake. It happens. And that's where I'm going to go with this, which is I am going to pull up, hold on, here we go. I am pulling up my little tips here. So I'm just going to leave them this way because it's easier for me to control. But, before you ever start with a live, and this can be on Instagram, this can be on Facebook, this can be LinkedIn if you have the capacity to go live on LinkedIn. Some people have it, some people don't. I don't have it yet. YouTube, I'm not as familiar with their live. I know that they have one and I've used it before. But the most important thing that you can do is promote that you're going live. Yesterday, I did a live, last night, we did a wind down Wednesday with my husband. And I went on in the morning and said, hey, tonight around 6:30, I'm going to be going live. Same thing in my group. When I'm going to go live, I give them a heads up. Hey, 9:30, we're going to be talking about. And I tend to tease them. I don't give away the entire farm, right? Like I just say to them like, what does toilet paper and cheesecake have in common? It's going to be me at 9:30. So, and that makes them go, what are they talking about? And it makes them tune in. So you want to give them a little something that's really interesting. Like, you're not going to believe what this house has to offer. You want to give them a little something that makes them want to come back for more. So yeah, you want to tease, you want to promote it out. Instagram has a great feature, especially if you're going to be doing an Instagram live. Do the countdown clock that they have in the Instagram stories. Actually, what it does is it allows you to have your viewers click on it, and then they get reminded that, oh, hey, Pinky's going to be going live at 2 o'clock. I want to make sure that I get in and get to see that. So, make sure you're promoting and promote across the across every platform. So if you're doing an Instagram live, make sure you tell people on Facebook, and you got to give them directions, guys, as far as like, all right, Sue, because some people, I'm not going to pick on Maureen, but no, she might not know exactly how Instagram works. So you got to say, all right, you're going to click on the bubble, the story bubble when it goes live, when you see me light up, then go on and click on that. You got to tell them what to do. Go over to Twitter, say, hey, I'm going to be on Instagram at 2 o'clock today. Facebook, LinkedIn, wherever it is that you're going to be doing, cross-pollinate into these different forums so that they know where they can find you. Be very clear about that. My next big tip is always being prepared, okay? As Karin was talking, as Michele was talking, you need to know what your topic is. If Michele just got on and just started babbling, we'd be like, what the hell is she talking about? You want to be prepared. Know your topic. Last night during my Facebook Live, I was talking about toilet paper, okay? Just saying, I was talking about toilet paper. My husband turns to me and he's like, good Lord, do you know everything about toilet paper today? And I said, yes, I researched it. I knew my topic before I got started. I didn't even have to read off a script because I had kind of dove in and gotten my fun facts all together. So you want to know your topic. If it's your house that you're showcasing, right? You should know, if it's your listing, you already know the 3 bedrooms, 2 bath, 1,500 square feet, it's in a gated community, all the highlights. So you really don't have to work on that information. You really want to dig in deep though, and start to think, like, ask your seller, like, what is it that you love about this property? Even if it's an investor, they're going to have something that attracted them to that property. And that could be something that you can highlight and really search it out. Sometimes it's the names of the streets, like think about a neighborhood and how they came up with the names of the streets. You could do a whole, background on the neighborhood, how long it's been there, the history of the neighborhood. Savannah has some great historic neighborhoods, obviously. So you want to know your topic before you go in. Have a few points ready. Practice a little bit as far as like, sometimes when I do my lives, I'll go in and I'll get my topics ready on Instagram. So I'll do like 3-4 Instagram stories so that I'm basically rehearsing before I get in front of the camera to do the Facebook Live. But also, when you're being prepared, that also means checking your background, right? Know what's behind you, like what is behind me right now, right? When I'm outside with Josh last night, the sun was coming down and he's like, whoa, the sun's too bright. We got to move the setting. So we need to know what's behind you. You want to make sure things like the noise level is not too high. Like if there's some sort of background music, sprinklers going off. I'm looking at the sprinklers in my yard right now. If somebody's going to be cutting the grass, a lot of times people go Facebook Live from a house, right? They're out showing a house off. And all of a sudden, I did this once. I was at a condo and all of a sudden the garbage truck came by, and you know how loud those things are? But it was hilarious because I stopped and I was just like, well, you know what? Trash is included in the condo. So, you can have fun with it, but I want you to be aware of the noises that go around you. So, get yourself a simple mic. It doesn't, like Karin said, it doesn't have to be anything extraordinary, but it will help when it comes to those noise things that are around you. Then smile. Okay, I say this with love, but I see you guys get on and you get freaked out, right? So you're like freaked out before you're even there. So get on, smile, say hello. Hey, it's me, Pinky of Pinky Knows Southwest Florida. And I just wanted to pop on today and tell you a little bit about what we're going to do today. And then interact with your audience like we did at the beginning of this. We said, oh, hey, Scott from Tampa, Dunedin area. It's good to hear you. Good to see you, Carlos, Tampa. Michelle, I'm picking on all the Tampa peoples, Michelle, Maureen, but you want to do what I call the romper room, which is, hey guys, how are you? Thanks. Let us know that you can hear us okay. Interact with them. Tell us where you're from, what's going on. Have some questions ready at the very beginning, like, oh, so what do you guys find that you have more time for right now? Get those introduction questions going so that way also the algorithm is pushing it out there saying, oh, okay, they're live. Let's tell so-and-so that they're live, and oh, let's get them in here. And that's how you really work it to gain an audience with going live. Now, I do want to stop for a second and just say to you that you all think the entire world is going to be watching you. I want you to know they are not, and it's okay that they're not. This is a perfect time to make mistakes, okay? It happens. And you might only get 4 or 5 people watching you, and 2 of them are probably going to be related to you and making fun of you behind the scenes. It's okay. It doesn't matter. You've got to make your mistakes, and that's what I want you to know. Because a lot of people say to me, but live, oh my gosh, I don't like live. Live's too scary. What if I mess up? I love live because it gives me the ability to mess up. When you do a taped video, in the broadcasting world, we call it canned video. The commercials that you watch on TV, they're taped. If they suddenly messed up in the middle of that, you'd be like, what just happened there? That's not supposed to happen. It's supposed to be perfect. Whereas if you're watching the news and they go live and there's someone out at the beach and they're talking, and then all of a sudden somebody goes streaking past them, right? You're expecting that there's an expectation that that's going to happen because it's live. If there's tech issues, audio can't be heard or something like that, you have the expectation that that will happen because mistakes happen when you're live. You just have to roll with it. And some of the best things come out of those situations because you're expecting them to go crazy, right? You're like, oh my gosh, that was so awesome. Like this guy randomly ran by, like it was amazing. So sometimes it's okay, like you don't want it always to be perfect because when it is, it's just a commercial and people don't feel like they know you, right? And then at the end, when you're done, you say, thank you so much for watching. I so appreciate you taking the time to be here with us. And you go back and you interact with your comments and you continue those conversations. That's how you build relationships. It's the same thing that we used to do at BNI, or some of you probably still do. If you're going to go to a BNI or a networking meeting and you get there and you go and you stand in the corner like a cold fish and you don't interact, you're going to say, well, this is a waste of time. I didn't get anything from it. Of course not. You didn't interact with anybody. It's the same thing with any type of video, whether it's YouTube, Instagram, wherever you're putting your content out there. If you put it out there and then you don't interact with your audience, you're never going to grow those relationships. You're never going to nurture anything more than that. So that's kind of the ins and outs of going live. I think we had a question, can you do Instagram and live and Facebook at the same time? No, you can't. You have to do one or the other. It's not integrated that way. It's completely different scenario. Instagram Live, there are some really cool attributes. I put it out in my blog post, which is with Instagram Live, which is why I think it's really cool for virtual open houses, is that you can do it right from home. And you have the ability to screen share your video and pictures. So you can show videos of your property. You can show pictures of your property, which you can make pretty over on Canva, make them into pretty little graphics. And you can showcase those. Well, I did one the other day sitting in the garage, right? That is the really cool attribute of Instagram Live. It's just you really do have to promote that ahead of time to get the viewers to come in and watch.
And you can repurpose that by saving your lives on Instagram. Now, I did something the other day where I did a Facebook Live, but I did my Facebook Live from my laptop, and then I hung my phone on my computer and hit Instagram Live. So there's a workaround, but you cannot do them at the same time from your apps or from your phone or anything like that.
Yeah, and I think there's a little bit of authenticity lost when you're doing the dual at the same time.
I don't disagree with you, and the reason I did it was for something specific because I didn't want to have to redo it, but typically, yeah, I do them separately too.
And if you're like Gary Vee and you have a gazillion followers, then yeah, you can figure out how to like, he's got a whole team of
little thing
people.
for that, but you got to be
Yeah.
high tech for that.
Yep. So do we have any other questions, guys, as we are wrapping it up here? So do you go live on Facebook, your personal page, or your business page, and how often? This is a question that it's kind of tricky. Like first of all, if your business Facebook page is like Pinky Sells Florida, which I'm sure a ton of you have these real estate pages. I say this with love. They're cemeteries. Okay. Nobody goes there. Okay. I say it with love. I had one, I got rid of it because nobody went there. Nobody cares. It's like the car salesman. Nobody wants to go to those pages unless you've got some really unique niche or whatever you want to call it, but you really have to, hone in that specific, like mine's Pinky Knows Naples, and it's about the community and it's about real estate. She, Michelle has So Boca, same kind of feel to it. You want to make sure that, your page is more than just real estate for you to get any traction on it. Then yes, start going Facebook Live over there. Personal pages do get you a little more oomph, as far as viewers, because you're going to have more people looking at that page. Doing it consistently, whether it's like Karen was saying with YouTube, she posts every Monday in the morning, being on Instagram stories every single day will build your audience. So, doing a Facebook Live, I don't necessarily suggest going live every single day unless you really have a whole lot to say. I think it can be very tricky. I think that you have to know what you're going to say. You got to get in and get out, and you don't want to like just talk to hear yourself talk. I know we real estate agents, we like to do that.
I went live on my personal page yesterday to show people how to use palm fronds to make a floral display because we're all at home. And I don't do lives a ton on my personal page, but let me tell you something. When I did it on Instagram on So Boca, I got so many views because Sue and I both agree. Hashtag home decor. People love that hashtag, man. If you want like quick engagement, people are all over that. But I did that and I showed people how, listen, it costs nothing. Go out, snip them off and put them in. And I do it all the time, which then turned into talking about thrift stores and home staging and things like that. And I think maybe like halfway through it, I said, oh, you know what, by the way, I had a closing last week and let me tell you a little bit about that. Like, it was not like I didn't go on to talk about my closing.
Yeah.
Who gives a crap about that?
Right.
Nobody.
Right. So I think there was a question, do you use any apps for going live? And no, I don't. I mean, there's things out there that you can use, but I just hit the go live button on, Instagram or Facebook or wherever it is. I don't go into any crazy apps, just keep it simple. If you're first learning it, I've used Facebook Creator for it, and I just found that my engagement went down with it. So I haven't gone back to it. Will we have this posted? Yeah, it's going to be, we have a couple of groups that I'm going to share here in a second for you to join, so that you can, if you want to learn more about YouTube from Karen, or if you want to follow B on Instagram, you can do that as well. But yeah, I mean, I think that the real thing here that we're all kind of driving to you is you don't have to do all Instagram, all Facebook, all YouTube, but you do have to get your face out there in front of people. And right now we're all stuck at home, and yeah, you might have a bad hair day, or you might have to lose weight. And, we all been there, but that is, you hate saying it, but it is who you are. It is who you are. I mean, you've just got to embrace it and move on and move forward and not be so worried about being perfect all the time, because none of us are. Ladies, do you agree?
I totally agree. I think that we are so much more critical of ourselves than anybody else is. And if we,
I don't know, my mom's pretty critical, Karen.
Okay, well, right.
I've seen your mom.
I have to like color my roots before I go to my parents' house for Thanksgiving, because my mom will absolutely say something about it. I'm like, really? You got to bring that up. Thanks. And we're all about to know what each other's real hair color is in the next couple of weeks, aren't we? So luckily we're all in the same boat. But once you kind of get over it, I mean, the more I do it, the more I've just gotten to that whole, like, I don't give a shit mentality, where this is what I look like. And if you don't like it, go watch somebody else, because I just don't care what you think. And when you kind of get to that point, it's really liberating. When you start to think that people are not tuning in because they're going, oh, look, she's young and skinny and has no wrinkles and a flat stomach. They're tuning in because of what I can do to help them. And when you kind of get this, when it finally sinks in of people don't care what I look like, they're tuning in because of how I help them and how I make them feel, then it kind of takes all the pressure off that it really doesn't matter what I look like. I could literally show up in a t-shirt and sweatpants with my hair in a ponytail, and they might be like, dang, she looks like cat dragged in today. But would that keep them from hiring me? No, I don't think that it would. So.
Well, and you're attracting the type of client that you want to work with. And I think that that's really key, is that, you know, the people that I work with, they know darn well going in that I got pink hair and I'm a little bit funky. You know, I mean, it's just, that's the way it is. And if they don't like it, that's okay. And I'm in a very conservative, Naples is a very conservative area. So, you know, it doesn't always attract, you know, the same type of people, you know, so I have to be aware of that, but I'm okay. I'm not going to change who I am just because somebody doesn't get pink hair. You know,
Right.
I mean, I still have a brain in my
here's
head.
the thing that you know is that and I think we all know this, the moment we are not our authentic selves and we attract that customer, how many times have we been, oh my goodness, you know, this is who I am, and they, you know, it's not always a good fit. So being authentic, I call it just being in my Keys, you know, clothing, where, you know, let's face it, when you go to the Keys, you're in the same clothes for 2 or 3 days. I'm calling it what it is. And, you know, who cares? As long as you are providing good information that someone can really use. And usually that's why people are tuning in. And you can do fun stuff too, but at the end of the day, I think having a relevant conversation and information about your market, about what's going on, about calming people right now. And I think you ladies do a very good job of that. And just being the leaders in your community.
Yep, I think so too. Here is the information in regards to the groups that we have, and Michelle on Instagram. So if you want to join my group, it's Pinky Knows Video. And then Karen is YouTube for Real Estate Agents, both on Facebook. And then you can follow the Michelle B on Instagram. Of course, you can find Karen under YouTube for Real Estate Agents, I believe, on Instagram as well. And I'm Pinky Knows Naples on Instagram. But I did see a couple other little quick questions in here as far as like uploading personal stickers to Instagram. That's a whole nother, that's not a quick answer type situation.
Yeah.
But basically hire somebody to create those to make it the easiest for you. They're not just simple little things that can be done. And as far as how long should your best YouTube video be? 3 minutes? What do you think, Karen?
My best performing video on my channel is 10 minutes long. So I do not subscribe to the shorter is better mentality when it comes to YouTube. I would say 4 minutes and up is ideal for YouTube.
Okay, there we go. So now as far as going live, I think that if you're going to go live, there can be, you know, you don't want to go too long. You're not that interesting. I like to say you're not Oprah, and you're not, and if you're showing a house, unless it's Dateline and somebody died or was murdered there, you got a good story. You don't want to go on for 10, 15, 20 minutes. You want to get in and get out. You know, you don't want to waste people's time. Like I said, I don't like to waste people's time. I'm there to tell you something. Let me tell you, and then get out. If you have good content like Karen, you know, then yes, on YouTube, I think longer form video probably does a lot better over there because people are expecting it. You know, they have an expectation. Daniel asked, do you boost or pay on any of these platforms for exposure?
Occasionally I do, but not very often. I mean, I will boost a new listing.
Yeah, I would say.
I will do that on Instagram. But for the most part, no, it's all organic.
Same here. I've never run paid ads on YouTube. I mean, the only paid ads I do on Facebook are typically for new listings and, you know, come to our open house, stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Then I would say the same thing. Like I don't go over the top with a whole lot of advertising other than if it's, you know, something that's an event oriented type thing.
I'd say most of what we all do is created for a shoestring budget and free.
Yep. All right. Well, Well, thank you ladies so much for joining us today. And you guys, we so appreciate it. And like I said, I am doing Instagram basics tomorrow. So I'm going to walk you through the Instagram basics. And if you want to sign up for that, I will put it up on my Facebook page today so that you can find the link. Thank you so much for being part of it. You guys really hung in there. And if there's any other questions, you know, feel free to reach out to us on our social media platform. We'll be more than happy to answer those questions for you. But thank you, Michelle. Thank you, Karin, for joining us today.
Thank you.
you.
All right.